So what is love? When you care about someone so much that you would do anything pretty much for their happiness and for their well-being. So love doesn't necessarily just mean romantic love, but it's a true caring that is really selfless, because you don't do it with the want or the expectation of gaining something in return.
Well, it started in 2016 on a flight to Boston. I was one of the pilots on a porter flight to Boston, and Manjot was coming on board with her friend Emily, who was one of the flight attendants. We were doing a layover in Boston. I pretended I had a Boston accent when I met her, going to see Harvard, and so she believed that. But there was a connection right from the get-go, right away. And the first thing she said to me was that she had seen me before, that she thought she recognized me, and I was 100% sure that we hadn't met before, and she kept pushing the idea that
I could have sworn on it, like bet my life, that I had met him somewhere before, and I actually went right up to him and I said, "Where have I seen you before?" I was convinced.
Like, it was almost like she was looking into the future, perhaps. I know it sounds kind of sci-fi, but that's kind of the stuff I enjoy, so that's what some of the things I thought. And even when we all got into the elevators to go our separate ways, she turned around and ignored everyone and basically looked me straight in the face and said, "I know I've seen you somewhere before." There was a connection there somehow. I just didn't know exactly what it was. So the next morning, flew back to Toronto. I was asking the purser, Madeline and Emily, about Manjot, is she seeing someone, and that kind of thing. And halfway through in the flight, gave us a security knock on the door, and we let her in with the password, and she said, "Here, Mike, here's her phone number, give her a call." So when we landed, she came up to the cockpit and said hi to us and thanked us for the flight. I thought I'd start it casual by asking and saying, I understand you're doing a half marathon pretty soon. So if you need any advice or any pointers, I can tell you what apps I've used, what tips I use for running the race. Trying to be subtle. So we went on our first date, and I knew she was starting to be a veterinarian at the time and a big animal lover. So I thought, what better place to take her on a first date than the zoo? To my mistake, I guess animal lovers don't like caged animals. It worked for Rocky.
It was good. I mean, I obviously kept to myself my feelings about animals in captivity. I didn't really share that right off the bat.
Mm-hmm.
And it was easygoing. I had a good time. You were very, intuitive with all the details and taking care of planning and picking me up, and a good sport to go along with eating Indian food, even though I don't think you could handle spice too well.
No. I guess when we first started dating, everything was really good, going well. For me, it was a trip to Tobermory, and we went for a nice meal. I'd gone and done some research and actually found a vegan restaurant up in Tobermory so that she could eat. And we were there for most of the day, so we're driving down, I guess it's Highway 6 down from Tobermory back to Toronto, and it's been a long day. And Julie, her dog, is in the back seat, curled up, sleeping, and Manjot just put her feet up and fell asleep and put a blanket around her in the seat next to me. And the only way I can describe it was just like a small family, I'd been single for a while, and it was the first time I felt like part of a group, like a family, part of her life. And it was that I felt that the strong connection that I wanted to be with her.
Before, I knew love with my family, of course. And then, of course, I was blessed since birth to have a special love that I shared with animals. And they taught me the meaning of unconditional love. But when I knew he was the one was basically going through the exam process and having Mike there with me. So I had to go to Vegas to give my repeat exam, and it was, I can't even describe in words how nerve-wracking. Being in such a vulnerable position in my life, having him there and carry me through, if he could see me at my worst like that and bring me out of it, it really meant a lot to me. And that's when I knew that this is someone that I can see a future with.
When we got engaged, I spoke to your uncles and your mom too when I spoke to her. And I was nervous, I'll be honest. They were very giving, very honest, and very respectful and very supportive of me before I proposed to you. So once I went to that stage, I was very confident in proposing to you that time in Vegas. When we're together, we make sure that time is together. If I'm doing something or she's doing something, we make sure we do it together. we're not just two ships that pass the night where I'm heading out the door, she's coming in the door.
I was lucky enough to meet Mike and see that unconditional love like that can actually be fostered in someone that's not your family or not someone that gave birth to you, because essentially I thought only your mom can love you like that. But for someone to be genuinely worried about your well-being at all times and feel sad even though something just happened that doesn't affect them, I could be watching a sad movie and I start crying, and that'll make him feel sad because he sees me crying. And that shared emotion, that's love.
ये कुड़ियाँ नशे दिया कुड़ियाँ,
ये मुंडे गली दे गुंडे,
ये कुड़ियाँ नशे दिया कुड़ियाँ,
ये मुंडे गली दे गुंडे,
नशे दिया कुड़ियाँ,
गली दे गुंडे।
मेहंदी लगा के रखना, डोली सजा के रखना, मेहंदी लगा के रखना, डोली सजा के रखना, लेने तुझे ओ गोरी आएंगे तेरे सजना।
मेहंदी लगा के रखना, डोली सजा के रखना, ओहो ओहो।
सेहरा सजा के रखना, चेहरा छुपा के रखना, सेहरा सजा के रखना, चेहरा छुपा के रखना, ये दिल की बात अपने दिल में दबा के रखना।
सेहरा सजा के रखना, चेहरा छुपा के रखना,
मेहंदी लगा के रखना, डोली सजा के रखना।
उड़ उड़ के तेरी जुल्फें करती है क्या इशारे, दिल थाम के खड़े हैं आशिक सभी गंवारे।
छुप जाए सारी कुड़ियाँ घर में शर्म के मारे, गाँव में आ गए हैं पागल शहर के सारे।
नजरें झुका के रखना, दामन बचा के रखना, नजरें झुका के रखना, दामन बचा के रखना, लेने तुझे ओ गोरी आएंगे तेरे सजना।
मेहंदी लगा के रखना, डोली सजा के रखना,
सेहरा सजा के रखना, चेहरा छुपा के रखना।
मैं एक जवान लड़का, तू एक हसीन लड़की, ये दिल मचल गया तो मेरा कसूर क्या है।
रखना था दिल पे काबू, ये हुस्न तो है जादू, जादू ये चल गया तो मेरा कसूर क्या है।
रास्ता हमारा तकना, दरवाजा खुला रखना, रास्ता हमारा तकना, दरवाजा खुला रखना, लेने तुझे ओ गोरी आएंगे तेरे सजना।
कुछ और अब न कहना, कुछ और अब न करना, कुछ और अब न कहना, कुछ और अब न करना, ये दिल की बात अपने दिल में दबा के रखना।
मेहंदी लगा के रखना, डोली सजा के रखना,
सेहरा सजा के रखना, चेहरा छुपा के रखना।
शाबाश
ओए ओए ओए
शाबाश